Now, going back to what I'm very excited to talk about, the BlacKkKlansman. I saw that movie on, I believe, Friday. I believe Friday. I saw that movie on Friday, and it was amazing. It had a lot of nuances. It had a lot of little, hidden meanings. And by the way, this is gonna be spoiler all over. So if you guys haven't seen it, skip this shit all the way to almost the end of the podcast. You know what I'm saying? But this is gonna be spoilers, spoiler warning. You know what I'm saying? Spoiler warning. It's spoilers all over. So if y'all didn't see it, oh well. So the movie opens up with the Confederate history. A bunch of people laying down. And mind you, I seen this on Friday. I'm gonna forget a couple of names, okay? So you got the racist white dude in the front, talking all this white supremacy shit. We this is a state for us and all this other, just Confederate, you know what I'm saying? Just Confederate flags all over. And it's basically like somewhat the history. And he's just saying all this white supremacist shit, like this is a white country, blacks and all these other people shouldn't even be here. Something very interesting. He kept on he referred at a certain point to people as mongrels. Mongrels is very important because they call a lot of Latin people mongrels. If you guys ever seen, there was an interview with Univision with this black reporter talking to a BlacKkKlansman. She was going to be part of a cross burning that she was going to witness and stuff. She was interviewing them, and he said that because she's a black Latina, but she classifies herself as black, as she should, and he still saw, he still felt the hatred. You saw the hatred in his eyes, and he said, "You are not a human. You are a mongrel to me." That's very, very interesting. That's very interesting. So don't listen, you Latinos that be trying to classify yourself as white. Y'all not Europeans. Just because you know Spanish doesn't mean shit. You guys are not Europeans. That's how real white people see you. They see you as mongrels. They see you as invaders, as imposters. Just because some of y'all got white skin doesn't mean that y'all white. You know what I'm saying? You guys are imposters. So you guys better start, learning what it is before y'all get y'all nigga wake up call. Actually, Latinos did get y'all nigga wake up call, but most of us still acted stupid and voted for a goddamn white supremacist. But I'm not even gonna get into that because I already did. Anyway, so you get into this Confederate history, and he starts, basically it's like this whole thing is like amping up or whatever. It's like an amp up, like, you know what I'm saying? Before a sports team goes outside to play, it's like an amp. You know what I'm saying? And then the next scene, it cuts to the main character, which is Ron Starworth, I believe. Once again, I'm gonna forget names. Ron, and it's a big sign about join the police force because minority is minority placement. Mind you, this is like around the 70s. Okay, this is around the 70s. This is when job equality is supposed to be something that people are looking for. You know what I'm saying? So this this guy goes in, Ron goes in, and he's being interviewed by a black dude and the police chief. And they're just asking him questions and all this other stuff, and then saying, listen, you're gonna be the first black cop in Water Springs, whatever. Again, I'm gonna forget names, so you're gonna be the first cop here. How you gonna handle it? And he's gonna be cool, just waiting for opportunity, so and so and so and so. And he was the black guy was like, how you gonna feel about other officers calling you names, racially insensitive names? You know, said like anybody else would say in the interview, I'm gonna just turn the other cheek. But before he said that, he was like, do you think it will happen? I believe, for what I remember, do you think it will happen? And the black guy was like, shit. You know what I'm saying? Which is funny. But, you know, obviously it happens. You know, so he was like, oh, I'll just turn the other cheek. But, you know, I like how they show that part, that they're looking for equality and minority programs and all this other stuff, so they won't seem as racist. Remember, the only black guy there ever. Now, when he starts off in the record room, basically down in the basement, and officers coming in just to, you know, get records of people, you know, being arrested or whatever for investigations. That's how he's starting off. And he, you know, he's already experiencing some racist cops already, you know, with one incident. I'm not gonna spoil the whole thing. I'm not gonna say I'm just going to tell you what's important. Then he decides to go up to his boss and say, listen, I want to be, you know, in a better position here. They were like, listen, you're new, relax, you know, you're thinking you're top shit, calm down. You need to still, you know, grow a little bit more. So they put him back into the evidence room until they actually needed him. And this is very important. Whenever someone that's not white, especially black folks, are in a job and people from the dominant society need a face of a black man, best believe they'll become your biggest buddies. Best believe they'll become the best of friends. You know what I'm saying? Because they just need you as a face. And a lot of organizations and people from the dominant society, that's what they do. So they won't seem racist, or they can infiltrate your own culture and your own community. You know what I'm saying? So what ended up happening was that they needed him to infiltrate one of these pro-black, you know, meetings or whatever the case is. So he got upgraded to, you know, undercover. So, you know, that's what happened. You know, they mic'd him up. He went inside. He met some, you know, radical, you know, sister girl friend there. But, you know, he went and they recorded the whole speech. Again, I'm not good with names. I forgot. But they recorded, you know, he saw his speech and he was actually, you know, feeling it. He was like, he's talking some deep shit. You know what I mean? He's talking some deep shit. So they went back and they were like, okay. So the chief was like, all right, so what did you guys find? He was like, nothing. Listen, he wasn't talking about anything crazy. All he was like informing the people, and they were like, he's talking about starting a race war. He was like, nah, he was just saying to prepare ourselves for a race war. He wasn't saying nothing else. But, you know, that's basically it. And you know the two white cops that backed him up. It was like, yeah, it didn't seem like anything crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now, the next thing is, now he's a detective. And, you know, now he's just waiting to see what's going on. So he opens up the paper and then he sees a wanted ad for the Ku Klux Klan. So in the movie, well, in the book it was different, but in the movie, he calls up the place, leaves a voicemail, and says, listen, I hate niggers, spics, kikes, blah, 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 all these other racially insensitive terms. And I'm a pure white man, and I would like to join. Hangs up. Not more than 5 minutes later, he gets a call back. They start talking. Boom, he gets contact, right? Now this is what the preference of the movie is, that he is a black man speaking to the Klan, and the embodiment of himself is one of the white undercover officers, which is, one of his friends or whatever. The undercover officer is a Jewish guy. So he was supposed to represent, okay, you're really speaking to a black guy, but I'm pretending that you're speaking to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's a Jewish guy. And you don't find this out until maybe like third way into the movie that he's a Jewish guy because of the necklace. And he's like, oh, I didn't know you were Jewish. And he was like, well, I don't really like to talk about it. It is what it is. And then you find out later on in the movie that, he wasn't really raised Jewish, because Jewish is a religion. Wasn't raised Jewish, but it was a struggle his whole life. You know what I'm saying? He never had a bar mitzvah or nothing, so he doesn't really care or claim to be Jewish, but he knows that his family is. He knows that that's what he is. You know what I'm saying? But, internally there's a struggle there. But you don't find that out later on, right? So, Ron, the black guy, he thinks like there's a camaraderie. I can't even speak right now. There's like, they're both in the same page. They're both brothers in the struggle. They're both like, okay, you're Jewish, I'm black. You understand exactly how crazy this is. You know what I'm saying? You should understand, and you do understand because you're Jewish and you went to turmoil. You went through, you've been oppressed, you've been, mistreated. So you should know exactly how I feel, and you should be having the same amount of energy, same amount of hatred towards these type of people as I do. That's very important. Very important. Just keep that in your head. Now the white guy, the white officer, he goes and meets one of the Klansmen for the first time. And it's one of their enforcers or whatever the case is, right? So, mind you, he's mic'd up, you know what I'm saying? Doing whatever. He's mic'd up and shit. And, recording all that. So he goes, this is very important what he's about to say. He goes, oh, so what about, tell me more about the Ku Klux Klan. The other guy, the enforcer, goes like, whoa, bro. We don't talk about that in the open. We don't even talk about that between each other. We don't even use that word. Even though we're part of the Ku Klux Klan, we don't use that word. We use words as organization. And that is very telling because that's code words. They automatically, right there in that movie, they're showing you how they're staying in code with each other. They're staying in code with each other. They don't use the words KKK. They use other words like organization, other words like alt-right, other words like alt-lights. You know what I'm saying? Or race realist. Other little bullshit, stupid terms they make up. But it all comes back to white supremacy. No matter what, all comes back to white supremacy. No matter how you slice and dice it, it all comes back to white supremacy. So right then and there, they're telling him, listen, stay on code. We don't talk about this, even with each other. We don't talk about what the name is. It's called the organization. So that's very telling. And also, they never talk about the individuals who are part of the membership, who are in other superior positions like police officers or law enforcement, higher ranking officers like in the military, or higher officials like in government. They keep all of that shit a secret. All of that shit a secret until you actually join, or not even. Most of them don't even know. You know what I'm saying? They keep all of that shit a secret. And that's very telling. So, fast forward through the movie. At this part, Ron is waiting for his membership because already he got into the Klan that say he's waiting for his membership. It's taking a while, so he calls and David Duke, the head Grand Wizard. That's a stupid name, Grand Wizard. Are you fucking kidding me? It's on some Game of Thrones bullshit. Anyway, the Grand Wizard, David Duke, answers the phone and was like, "Hey, how can I help you? Listen, I'm looking for, the card, this and this and this." But then they make up a friendship. They actually start talking every day. Ron, the black guy, with David Duke, becomes an everyday thing, to the point where his membership passes and he gets his membership card saying lifelong member or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, he starts talking on the phone. And at one point, the Ron character decides to tell David Duke a personal story about this black, mind you, he's pretending to be white, this black family that used to live across the street from him, and this black kid, and they were friends, but he kind of saw him as inferior, and he gave him a nickname, Butter Biscuit, and how they will make fun of him behind his back and call him Butter Biscuit, and he didn't know that was a derogatory term, and they would just call him Butter Biscuit. Now, when he's saying the story, the camera is panning to Ron's face, and you can see and you can tell that this is not just a story he's making up. This seems like it's a personal story. And throughout the whole time, David Duke is on the other line laughing his ass off. Now, this is very important. It might go over a lot of people's heads, but that word Butter Biscuit is extremely, extremely important. If you guys ever read some slave narratives or slave testimonials or anything like that, they would consider, you will start seeing a lot of words Butter Biscuit, Butter Biscuit, Butter Biscuit, Butter Biscuit, right? And you will end up finding out that Butter Biscuit was, during slavery, was a way of currency for themselves. Whenever they snitched on another slave, whenever they did anything good for the plantation or whatever the case was, they earned themselves a Butter Biscuit, because that Butter Biscuit was so good compared to what they were really eating. All the trash that they were eating with the leftovers. So they would do these people that will, fuck up the other slaves and snitch on them or whatever the case is. They would do so to earn Butter Biscuits. And you would see this in narratives. Now, that nickname, that nickname will mostly, be for coons, for collaborators, you know what I mean? That nickname, that right there is deep. That nickname is saying that you're gonna fuck up your own race and for a Butter Biscuit. And they called them Butter Biscuit. That was extremely deep. When I heard that, my jaw dropped. I was like, yo, this is some deep ass shit. It might have went over a lot of people's heads, but that shit right there was deep. So, that's another deep part, right? Another part where, fast forward to the movie a little bit more. Ron is talking to one of the other officers because remember one of the white officers is about to go meet up with the Klan. So he's talking to the other officer that's there, also another one. And he's like, hey, what's up with this, racist cop or whatever? What's going on with him? Why he got an issue? Oh, that's him, it is what it is, blah, blah, blah. He got issues like that. And there was a rumor that he shot a black kid in the face and he felt threatened. Huh? Hear that? He felt threatened. And Ron goes, why has nobody turned him in yet? One of the white cop goes, we do not turn in our own, our family. And Ron says, wow, that kind of sounds like another people that we know, talking about the KKK. That is very telling right there, because that's what's happening now. A lot of officers feel like that's a part of a community, part of a family. You know, you got my back and all this, like they're going to war. But they won't turn in their own, even though they know they're doing some fucked up shit. And that's something that has to stop. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're in the Black and Latin community. If you see some fucked up shit going on, you better do something. You know, do what Edward Snowden did. Start leaking shit out. You know what I'm saying? But that was very telling right there. Another thing that they really harped on: the preservation of a white woman. How white women are precious. White women are precious. They shouldn't be touched by black men. They're precious, precious, precious things. That also was something that was harped on with Birth of a Nation. So they showed the original Birth of a Nation, which was basically, that film was idolizing, making the Klan heroes. That film right there was basically the marketing campaign and the backbone of the Klan that kind of made them look godlike. That film right there, Birth of a Nation, the original film, made the Klan look like fucking heroes. Made them look like the Avengers as it is right now. You know what I'm saying? And in that film, the storyline basically is the black guy, you know, black people, right, cooning up that they cannot get enough of white women, and they're chasing white women down just to get to them. White women are running, falling off cliffs and all this other stuff, and these black men are just doing the same just to get them, because white women are so irresistible. Because if you really see them, they're all flat-chested with thin lips. Not all of them, don't get me wrong. There's some white women that be bad, you know, and you could cut all of that in the middle, because some of them are not even natural. But whatever, I'm not gonna get into that. But it harped on like how white women are so irresistible, and oh my god, we want y'all so bad, and all this other crazy shit. And that goes on to white women being precious, and they shouldn't be touched by black men. You know what I'm saying? And another part of the movie was where they show David Duke and the Klan and all them, basically all the recruits getting initiated. And the way they did it was in a religious form, making it seem like you're doing God's work if you're part of the Klan. Making it seem like this is holier than thou. Making it seem like if you're part of the Klan, you are doing God's work. And that was very, very, very telling, because the psychology of that psychology of white supremacy being part of a religion is something so powerful. Because let's be honest, whenever you question somebody about their religious faith, you better go to war. It's something that people just will cut your throat over. You better not talk bad about my religion, my deity, my God. Especially Latin people who believe that God is white. Oh hell no! Yeah, I dare you to go put that picture of Jesucristo down from the wall next to the door that with a bunch of little candles around. I dare you take that down. You won't get a chancleta in your face. You know what I'm saying? So white supremacy being part of a religion, and it's a religious thing, that is extremely telling. So that was another thing that I, caught on. That was another thing that was like, boom, this is crazy. Now, something that I skipped over that I'm gonna go back in the middle of the beginning of the film, um, the the Ron character is talking to one of the other chiefs of police that's gonna be part of the investigation or whatever of the Klan. He said David Duke is cleaning up his appearance. He wants to appeal to a wider demographic of people, a wider people. And he wants to use code words like immigration, America first, etc., 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 etc. He doesn't want to use words like KKK or no one in America, you know what I'm saying? The cleansing. He doesn't want to use words like that. And this was very funny. The Ron character says, no one in America will ever let a KKK person in the White House. And the white cop says, coming from a black guy, that's very naive. What's happening now? Trump is in office, a noted white supremacist. Allegedly, his father was part of the Klan. Allegedly. He has history of practicing white supremacy amongst black people. One of his wives said that he used to read the book Mein Kampf, a Hitler book, before he went to bed. So he has a history of white supremacy. Has a history. So now fast forward all the way to the end of the movie, everybody's arrested, everything is done, right? Now, the wrong character is, sitting down at the table, and the girl that now his girlfriend, which is, the sister girl that we saw in the original film or whatever, it's with him now, and she was like, all right, now this is over, are you gonna leave the force, or whatever the case is? That gets interrupted with a knock on the door. A knock on the door. They both get their guns, right? Pointing it at the door. They open the door. Nothing. Nobody's there. They go down the hallway, and the camera shows them, the hallway narrowing out with them going down the hallway. And the camera shows fire all the way in the distance, while the camera zooms into the window what they're seeing. And what you see is a cross burning. Basically saying, you haven't changed anything. We're still here, we're still strong, and we're still gonna stay here. Basically, it was like, a little threat. Now, this is very important, and I don't know if a lot of people caught this. While the camera was showing the Klan doing the cross burning, they focus on one character in particular, with his eyes looking at the cross. Mind you, the investigation is over. The investigation is over. That's it. You shouldn't contact the Klan no more. It's over. They focus on a character looking at the cross burning. They just focus on his eyes. And they show, them throwing the torches in the middle. Focus on this person's eyes again. And then they focus on the cross. Then the camera goes from a tight undershot, basically panning up, showing under the hood. And what you see is the white undercover cop that helped Ron in that investigation with the hood on, being part of the Klan. Meaning that just because I helped you take down certain people, just because I'm Jewish, does not mean that I'm not white first. Meaning that most of what these people were saying, most of what these fuckers were saying, was hitting him home. Was saying that, hey, guess what? I actually resonate with you people. And this is not even become an undercover operation at this point. This is becoming something personal. This is becoming something that I see fit. That it really resonates with me. You know what I'm saying? And that's very telling. And something that I also saw that from the Black Power struggle and the Black Power, people there they were always meeting into like, you know, these places where they wanted to wake people up and, you know, unifying all this other stuff. And the white supremacists were always meeting up in places where they're always training. They looked more organized. You had to pay dues. You had to do all these other things. And the black folks were just telling stories and talking about what they should be doing. And that is also very telling too. That's what we have to get on. We have to get on one code and one code only. We have to train. We have to constantly train amongst us. We have to also get into a military mindset where we have to say, listen, we all have to get on one code. We all have to unify here. I got, you know, I'm gonna be a part of this black organization. I got to pay dues and all the, you know, fund what you fighting for. You know what I'm saying? That's what I did see. And I noticed that. And I'm like, hey, I think this is something that we gotta, you know, we gotta do. You know what I'm saying? And I like how Spike Lee ended the whole thing with images of the Charlottesville rally and all this, like having a connection towards now where there's nothing really changed. You know what I'm saying? And I really like that part. I really like that. If you guys want to reach out, hit me up on Instagram or Twitter at radical_Latino_. And also, if you guys want to hit up the show voicemail, you can always do so at 609-948-4194. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Have a good one. Peace.